Mosala, o tswa ka mo kae? E tswa ka mo?
Okay.
O tla tshwara ko pele ko.
What did Spain, man?
Yeah, for sure Spain souvenir.
Exactly the good it's a guy, man.
E le ga shia bjale ga yo robala.
Hele nna ke a struggle go e bogela.
Me shia petelle.
Ke bogela last 10 minutes
Yeah.
most of the time. Ke tlo dula yo. Go na le dilo tse
Happy to get the whole 90 minutes.
Yo. Straight
Left.
left.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so that I'm sorry, it was straight to the freeway.
Okay.
Rules the freeway.
Yeah.
Rules the freeway.
Yeah. Anything. What ka fitla? When you shortcut ke the freeway. Ke sa tea go sekile be tlo a ka re ka sukiri mabane. Ese ke tsetse wa nkutlwa. Ke no ile bia a.
Can't you not go on?
Na? A ga le go tsubile le pese.
Yeah, I can go later, but the hats are for sake of me. Yeah.
Ah, that's ile before ena ka nna. A etsa metsi one.
Have you been
A ba bola dikobong pese.
like test them out?
Ga fetsa mo go ka yo tlhapa. Le ke tswa go kamereng.
And I'm going to test them out.
Ah.
You really go left in the hand.
Ah.
Serelevo.
Wa bona?
Yeah.
Try to talk about the limo more.
Mo go na le mapodisi.
Batho ba batla mosebetsi ba so fitlhe batho. Ba go nna go tletse mosala.
Did you listen to Marumo? story Savio was now 8.
Mabane.
Yeah, good on my man.
Around this president, South Africa has faced this kind of uncertainty before, but at what point do we get overwhelmed by resilience fatigue?
You started that question with a higher grade question in this interview. So I guess we never get to that point of resilience fatigue. If we do, then things fall apart completely. And by the way, it's interesting to use that term, where we started writing in political science. In fact, started shifting from democratic consolidation to democratic resilience, precisely because of the point that democracies do consolidate, but there is never a time when there aren't sectors meditating against democracy. So then resilience becomes a key way in which to not necessarily check whether the democracy is consolidated, but to what extent is it able to bounce back in periods of upheaval?
Well, here's the concern. Here's the concern. You talk about bouncing back. That's exactly what we had begun to do under this president, whether you like him or not. And now the concern is that a number of those calling for his head only do so because they want us to take us back to the darkness from which we've barely emerged.
Sure. So here's an indisputable truth. It's not desirable to have somebody who's played the role that President Cyril Ramaphosa has played, to have questions of moral and ethical character lingering over him indefinitely. You know that begins to set the tone, if you like,
Sure,
for those that want to oppose.
right.
Appreciative as I have been of the role that he has played. I was among the first people, even before the scandal came, to say perhaps he was a transition president. But going forward, we need people whose hearts are burning with making sure that South Africa moves from where we are and thrives as an ethical, competent state. And I don't
Except we now know who might be next in line.
Well, that's absolutely dependent on President Cyril Ramaphosa, Bongani.
How so?
The true test of a leader is what happens to the project they started when they leave, not what happens when they are there. And so we know now that he's dominant, not only in the NEC, but also among the rank and file membership, if there is a nomination that anything to go by. So why does he interpret that political capital to be about himself only and not about the entire bloc that supports him? If he sees it in terms of the latter, he can then leverage that political capital to precipitate or to enforce a transition that will continue what he has started.
But that bloc stands strong only because he is at the helm. If he is gone, the whole project falls apart, does it not?
No, absolutely not true. If you look at the makeup of political power in the ANC, it's an outcome of power grouping at levels below the national. So if that is the case, then that power at least reconditioned for a successor that he prefers.
So how does he do that? So firstly, before we even get to that, so you would disagree with the idea that he is a spent force politically?
I disagree with the idea that if he leaves, he has no way of shaping the outcome to secure the small victories that he has gained.
Here's the difficulty with some of what you are saying. We're seeing this president being indecisive. Even this moment of uncertainty, will he, won't he, is indicative of the kind of vacillation we've become familiar with. He's never really given a sense of being completely in charge, has he?
Yeah, but it's no child's play to convince an entire subnational machinery of the ANC to continue to vote you into power. So while I accept the weaknesses that President Ramaphosa has had but it's no small feat that has been able to emerge victorious. So that power, and he needs to recognize that that power can serve the nation. And it doesn't have to be about the person of President Cyril Ramaphosa. That's why I've been critical of the lack of strategic foresight as far as managing succession politics is concerned. He doesn't have to be a victim, and he's shown through the even a quieter campaign on the surface, but very strong beneath the surface. So the same strategic moves made to secure a comfortable lead ahead of Zelensky can be made to ensure that the small victories are secured.
Power is power, as the saying goes. The NEC meets this evening in person. What's your sense of what they might decide?
The president is dominant in the NEC and has been consistently now for a period. So I don't expect fireworks there. I think it could be the same outcome as in the recent meeting. But he has to show some exit plan to the NEC. He can't go take us back to that environment where, because you are dominant in the NEC, there's a foolhardy, pursuit of gain at all costs rather than a win-win situation where you can say, I've got an exit plan, give me till the conference, and then work to ensure that there's a successor. There's no way we can tolerate a compromised president going into the future.
Okay.
And he himself...
I'm afraid we've run out of time. I appreciate you jumping in and helping us out this morning. As always, appreciate having you on the show and your views there. What's the presidential thing to do at a time like this? Share your thoughts with us.
7:02. Coming up, the big interview.
The big interview, of course, has to do with state security. The incoming Inspector General Imtiaz Faisal is on next. It's the first interview he's given since his appointment, and it's going to be a cracker, I can tell you. That's coming up after this Eyewitness News, brought to you by Anglo American. Together, we're shaping a better future.
This is Eyewitness News.
The presidency says Ramaphosa's delayed response to the Phala Phala report is in the best interest of the country.
It's about appropriately processing the report, getting the benefit of different views.
And the Rand recovers after sliding on the Section 89 report drama. Good morning, I'm Gladys Mutele. Presidential spokesperson Vincent Makwenya says President Cyril Ramaphosa does not lack confidence in his own caucus to shield him from having to face an impeachment inquiry, but is having to consult widely on his options, not for personal benefit, but in the best interest of the country. In light of the scathing independent judicial report, which has cast doubt over Ramaphosa's version of the burglary at his Phala Phala farm, the ANC's parliamentary caucus will have to display a united front to back him just weeks away from his second race for the ANC presidency. Lindsay Denkinger reports.
The recommendations of the Section 89 panel report are not binding on the National Assembly. This means the ANC has the numbers to stop the impeachment process from going any further. But in the run-up to a fierce leadership battle set to play out at the party's elective conference, it will be a tall ask from warring factions.
So it's not about whether he is panicking. He's not panicking, that I can assure you. It's not about the fact that he lacks confidence in his own caucus. But as I said, it's about appropriately processing the report, getting the benefit of different views, views which are being expressed in the interest of the country.
ANC Chief Whip Penny Mojadila says the caucus will thoroughly study the report before adopting a position.
It's not about defending a person, but it's about being honest to the report, honest to the country, respect the Constitution. That is what we're going to do.
The report will be debated and voted on next Tuesday. Lindsay Denkinger, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, the Rand has recovered somewhat after dropping significantly following the report by the independent panel on the president. By late yesterday afternoon, the local currency had reached 17 Rand 91 cents to the dollar, but has eased back to around 17 Rand 62 cents. This comes with calls by business for a speedy solution to the crisis, which has seen the president wondering what to do next. Ray White reports.
Business Unity South Africa has called on Parliament to move with haste with dealing with the report by the independent panel on President Cyril Ramaphosa. It says it notes with very serious concern the contents of the report, which indicate that the president may have transgressed various laws related to the Phala saga. It says this is a significant crisis for the country and poses high risks that will see further erosion of confidence and will increase an already unstable political climate, particularly in the run-up to the ANC's national conference this month. Musa says business needs policy and political certainty with a capable government that can fulfill its governance role. Over the past year, ratings agencies have cited political stability as being key when assessing this country. Eyewitness News.
As suspended public protector Mosala Kobane fights to keep her position, a senior official from the Chapter 9 institution has come to her defense. Marumo, who heads the Western Cape office of the public protector, has denied allegations that Kobane was often in a rush to release reports and compromise the quality of investigations at the institution. During his appearance at Parliament yesterday, Namula insisted that while Kobane was strict on deadlines, she always ensured thorough investigations. This is despite several of her reports being set aside by the courts. Kusikona Duma has more.
Previous witnesses at Parliament Section 194 panel looking into Mrs. Kobane's fitness as a public protector have told MPs that she was a hard taskmaster. Executive Manager for Provincial Investigations in the Office of the Public Protector, Nelisiwe Tejane, detailed harrowing tales of Kobane's leadership style, claiming that she often placed unreasonable deadlines and wanted staff members to work on weekends. But Lamola says this is not true.
She's one person when there are deadlines, they need to be respected. In particular, when you do your own deadlines. But it doesn't mean that she was cast on looking the date only. She was amenable to flexibility.
The inquiry into Kobane's fitness to hold office is expected to resume on Monday. Kosikona, Eyewitness News.
Health Minister Dr. Joe Phaahla says primary health services should be integrated to speed up HIV prevention, treatment, care and support. Phaahla was addressing the World AIDS Day commemoration in Bloemfontein yesterday. Government is in the process of developing the new National Strategic Plan for the next 5 years. Officials say the plan puts people and communities at the heart of the country's efforts to overcome inequities in its response to HIV, tuberculosis and sexually transmitted infections. Brakpan has stressed the end goal is to end HIV and AIDS by 2030.
This strategic plan, the draft has already been published to make sure that it will be launched next year on the 24th of March when we'll be commemorating our World TB Day.
He's also explained the country's new triple 95 targets, which it plans to reach by December 2025.
95% of all South Africans knowing their HIV status, but also making sure that 95% of those who know their status are also on treatment. And lastly, making sure that 95% of those who are on treatment also have viral suppression.
And after days of nationwide protests calling for an end to lockdowns and greater political freedom, China has signaled a possible easing of its strict zero-tolerance approach to COVID-19. The policy involving mass lockdowns, constant testing and quarantines sparked protests in major cities including Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou. The strict rules applied even to people who were not infected by the virus. During an address where she made no mention of the zero-COVID policy, an official central to the pandemic's response said the Omicron variant is getting weaker and the vaccination rates have improved, adding that this new situation requires new tasks. Gold is trading at $1,797.36 an ounce. The rand's at 17.56 to the dollar, 21.51 to the pound, 18.48 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $85.34 a barrel.
We still see that serious accident on the N1 South just after the N4 exit. That's in Montana Park, and there's about an hour's delay on the N4 going east heading into right field for the Woodward Falls Plaza. Driving in 4 ways, we still have those faulty traffic lights at William Nicol and Leslie. There are delays on William Nicol Drive in both directions between Brakpan and the N1. And if you're driving in Douglasdale, we still see that collision on the N1 North just before William Nicol Drive. There are delays from Marumo Drive.
In your sport, Germany fails to make it out the knockouts for a successive World Cup as Morocco, Spain, Japan and Croatia go through. Proteas have left for the Test Series in Australia. And the SA Open, Tristan Lawrence equals the course record for a one-shot lead on 8 under 64.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng today with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Both Joburg and Vereniging starting at a low of 15, peaking at 30 degrees. Pretoria 16 and 32. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Presidential spokesperson Vincent Makwenya says President Cyril Ramaphosa does not lack confidence in his own caucus to shield him from having to face an impeachment inquiry.
Eyewitness News. In touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, download the EWN app.
Imagine a future where everyone is safe, confident and able to thrive.
Animal
A future where violence no longer exists.
At Anglo American, the safety of our people and host communities
Look at
are
your
our
cheek
first
there.
priority. We are committed
Look
to
at your
a zero
cheek
tolerance
there.
approach with regards to sexual harassment, gender-based violence, bullying, harassment, domestic violence, and victimization.
Imagine.
Dignity Hub, underpinned by our global
Imagine.
victimization and domestic violence
You're never letting you never
Together, we can change the narrative of gender-based violence from impossible to impossible. Contact the Gender-Based Violence Command Center on 0800 4848 for support. Together,
we are shaping a better future.
Power is in your mood.
Developing stories, tough questions, your voice, making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bengwa
on 702.
12 after 7, precipitous times. We are facing as a nation incredible uncertainty. What is the president going to do? You heard Ngama Mdimka, our political analyst, saying, well, actually, he's got a lot of power. Remember that Game of Thrones moment? Power is power. He still holds sway in that NEC. For now, though, right? For now. In about 3 weeks, a new NEC is going to be in play, and some of the people that are receiving strong nominations are people very opposed to President Cyril Ramaphosa's agenda. Spokesperson for the president, Vincent Makwenya, saying the president does not lack confidence in his own caucus in order to shield him from having to face an impeachment inquiry, but is consulting widely on his options in the best interests of the country. You heard him, of course, telling Manduina yesterday that the president was going to address the country. When will that happen? We're all watching for a statement. We're all watching for the announcement. The rand recovering a little bit from yesterday, the most it fell since Nenegate in 2016. I asked the question before we went to the news. What for you would be a presidential thing to do at this time? My view is you tell us, you make a decision, it should have been anticipated this was a possibility. Make a decision and let us know what it is. And you stand by it. That's my view. What's yours?
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bengwa. Live, online, smartphones, DSTV channel 856, 92.7.
So the meeting of the NEC of the ANC today in
right to go in a bridge.
Okwa, what Robertson said. Ja, ke strada sa Tanswat. What I who? Ba go tsumsala. O di khokong.
Oh, mo ba rekang nama di khokona?
Yeah.
Ya, ke tseba go teng.
O ka before what
Mariko, okay, mo di robotong tse leng right.
This is
uzothenela Mosala buthi.
I think so.
That voters are given within the governing ANC. But the simple truth is, no South African voter alliance with the EFF. But there is one more option available to voters. And thankfully, the authors of our Constitution had the foresight to include this in the document. And that option is for a simple majority of 50% plus one of the National Assembly, your representatives, to vote for the dissolution of government, which would then trigger an early election.
Yeah, but it's not quite true, is it? The National Assembly is who actually votes for the president. South Africans voted for the ANC, right? They voted for the ANC, and it's the National Assembly that voted for the ANC's candidate to become president. I know it's all very technical, but does he really think, John Steenhuisen, that ANC members would vote against their own interests? Because we know if an election were held today, they would not do so well, would they? Why would they vote against their own interests? We're keeping an eye on Janusz Valus, the man who killed Chris Hani. He's going to be let out of parole once he's received the medical clearance following that stabbing. Chris is a really interesting story in the world.
Oh, yeah.
The Ukrainian government has a scheme called I Want to Live, in which basically they invite Russian soldiers to call a hotline or enter their details through a messenger app if they want to surrender. It's a really interesting development there. We'll find out more about it. Something like 100 inquiries per day, we're being told. There's also
maybe 500-600 somewhere.
Abolition of slavery.
Last year.
Of course, is about modern forms of slavery, such as human trafficking, sexual exploitation, recruitment of children into armed turns 41 today. She was born on this day in 1981. 702. Up next, the big interview. Unless Inspector General of Intelligence.
Abuti wa sa ko tshi ko ku robotong re jump bridge sa mele ka kwani ka ku dance white
tena mo maif es ba tele sika masika kwani tele sika masika kwani
sasa Sasa sika mo
yes we sika mo ke خلاص انا صرت انا قبيله kwani I have straight difference.
Why was I getting after 7 o'clock? One of the highlights of the state capture inquiry was the coming out of the dark, the underworld of intelligence. South Africans witnessed spies testifying in the open about their secret operations and what had gone all wrong during the Zuma years. Some did so even at great risk to themselves. The final report, of course, as we know, by Justice Zondo, was scathing about our intelligence, saying this had been integral in the facilitation of former president.
Well, this week, President Ramaphosa appointed Matthias Faisal as the new Inspector General of
for the railway line.
It's a pleasure to welcome you, Inspector General. Thank you so much for your time. I understand this is your first interview in this position, so we really, really appreciate you being available. Restoring the credibility of our intelligence services is going to be a tall order. As we know, they've been much more concerned with political machinations and factionalism within the governing party not necessarily keeping us safe.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Bongani, and
That
that is very true. I think the Zondo Commission, as well as the high-level review panel, exposed intelligence abuses and also the political abuse of intelligence for party political purposes. So quite clearly, what we have is dysfunctionality in the intelligence services, starting at the top. So we have a lot of work to do as oversight bodies. I don't believe the Inspector General is working on his own. You also have the Auditor General and the Intelligence Committee at Parliament. And I'd like to develop a relationship with those other bodies so that we have a joint effort in cleaning up our intelligence services so we restore their public confidence.
Look no further than July 2021, perhaps, to see their most spectacular failure.
Yes, no, there is no doubt. I think last year, July, the expert panel appointed by the President laid bare some of the failures in the government process. And they made a number of recommendations quite clearly. You find that government level. But Bongani, I do believe that if you look at experience internationally, when you have the exposure of intelligence abuses as well as intelligence failures, it provides an excellent platform from which to begin a process of reform. And I believe that as this cloud is a silver lining, and I'd like to think that the intelligence system is ripe for reform. And over the past, the excessive secrecy and abuse that has characterized our intelligence services since at least the early 2000s. So while you point out these failures and these abuses, I see this moment as an excellent opportunity for us oversight bodies to begin to sharpen our teeth and to ensure that our intelligence services are a force for good, they act in the public interest, and they respect human rights. So I see this as an important opportunity for us around that fortune.
The personal failures of those involved notwithstanding, part of it is involvement of
and especially government infrastructure.
Many are still being
Yes, Bongani, the intelligence business is a very dangerous business. It's there to protect democracy, but it can even subvert democracy. So we've got to be very careful about how we deal with intelligence. And one of the
elephant
the work the National Prosecuting Authority to refute those who have engaged in unlawful activity. And I know that the Office of the Inspector General, together with the Auditor General and other oversight bodies, are working closely with the NPA to bring those who are involved in the sort of political abuse you make reference to hold them to account. So I think we've engaged in far greater teams to turn around the fortunes of intelligence and to hold responsible for abuse to account, and to also recover all of the plundered from the state security agency.
Would you concede, as I'm asking you, that part of the political turmoil we are facing is in part due to the involvement of the state security agency?
I think what has transpired, the high-level review panel as well as the Zondo Commission made reference to the executive, in fact, being directly involved in the intelligence operations, and that is unlawful. And I'd like to think that the president response to the Zondo report, that there are initiatives being undertaken to ensure that the legal framework is clarified so politicians can get involved in intelligence gathering and the operation. And the intelligence business is currently a mess. Quite clearly, it's not in the public interest. It's not, undertaking agreement, and is involving itself in all sorts of activities which are parallel to itself.
To the right, because before the railway line, we go to 10 right.
And I have thoughts and ideas which I would like to share with the Intelligence Committee, and I believe that going forward, we need to restore public confidence in our intelligence services. And they are, in essence, most important. It's important to acknowledge that intelligence is not being focused. It's a necessary instrument to enhance our democracy. But many have lost their faith in the services quite clearly.
Because, of course, outside of political shenanigans, there's the destruction of infrastructure, there's alleged sabotage, the construction of we're seeing phenomena, at least to South Africa, things like kidnapping, for example. It's very clear sense as ordinary citizens that we're on the back foot, we're not being kept safe.
Yes, quite clearly, Bongani, and the expert panel reviewing the civil unrest of July last year, they made reference to the feeling of uncertainty in broader society, with the government and the intelligence services having failed to protect broader society, and the members of communities and others taking the law into their own hands. So that is acknowledged quite clearly. One of the areas we need to focus on is to ensure that they are fulfilling their duty with all these fundamental risks you make reference to, and they begin to utilize what we have is an aspiration for a safe society, and the intelligence services are at the center of it. So one of the areas we need to focus on is the operational effectiveness and the extent to which they need to utilize these threats. And you made reference to five very clear of the priorities that they are focusing on, and we want to see them succeed.
Well, part of the concern about the politics or media
change every time.
we see similar scenes to July last year, should things not go the way some people would prefer. How likely is that kind of thing from flaring up? And we as we will be caught
we have this recurring threat where you have the unacceptable levels of unemployment, where 2/3 of our youth are unemployed, and you have these dangers. So, any sort of event can trigger another July unrest, and we continue to live with this. But I'd like to think that the intelligence services are more prepared than they were when they were caught with their pants in Palestine during July last year. It's one of the areas we want to focus. And after there is any question, you can forward to me. What systems are in place to ensure that you neutralize before they
Most of our conversation has been about internal threats. We haven't even begun to look at, for example, that directive from the US about a potential incident, not a month ago. It's common cause that terror activities are being directed money flows, perhaps even sleeper cells. Mozambique, and yet much of our conversation hasn't even focused on those external factors.
No, Papa,
no, I'm not picking Rona.
No, I didn't not to kick in the second. Nako Kopaka.
I want another pack. I'm not so they pull the information and they connect the dots. The intelligence liaison. The intelligence agencies of different countries.
No, but something easier.
Okay.
Well security like it
My issue an example to illustrate that much of the mess that we are talking about is in fact about internal matters.
Yeah, I can run okay, Ramotropa. Or Pelagato Tamayamo.
Is that?
Yes, it is.
Maybe they can spend the whole day. Yeah. Bantabel Chigi Sabaitang, Usato Tamaya, distancing with food.
In the country. So So it does give
So
some sort of indication that we are in some kind of turmoil, and then therefore the focus on internal threats and the threats to internal stability.
Ninjani Baba.
We would say that the democratic project is under threat. That the levels of unemployment and inequality begin to bear itself. Social unrest and beginning.
Hello.
Papa. Kupa namela kwa.
Bona kitafuna liteki mospetlele ne. Kitafunela ne. Right, yeah. Thank you. Sure.
Laphela sibatlele khana
Na mena mo bona.
It's not a problem, just a bit closer.
Wena wa yizi taba di ba etsa.
Okay, na ke lo phaka bese ke a.
Okay.
Khola khona mo.
I can see you, ma. Dilo tsa government.
Uta butsisa ke mabitso.
Wa di tseba o tlo tsaya, you can take the whole day.
Yeah.
Metsi. Okay, thank you, pa. Shop. Yes.